Welcome back to Ask BirdGuy. I am Matthew Daughter, the Executive Director of Santa Clara Valley Audubon Society. And it's going to be another hot day. I think it's already 80 degrees and it's still pretty early. But I'm going to put my shoes on and head out for a walk around the neighborhood. And I'm going to use that opportunity to use my phone with eBird. So I just want to show you really quickly. I've got all of my sort of nature apps assembled in one nature folder, and you'll recognize a lot of these. There's eBird, Birdwatcher, BirdGuy, which I really recommend. It's a good way of looking what birds are near you quickly and getting directions on those locations. Sibley, Merlin, Larkwire, which is a fabulous app for kind of gamification of birdsong. Really good. The Warbler Guide, iNaturalist, Raptor ID, Dragonflies, eBird Pro, and Birdathon. So load up your phone with some of these apps. Definitely eBird. That'll get you pretty far. So I'm going to head outside right now, and we'll see what it's like to actually load your sightings in real time out in the field using the app. So I'll come back after a little while and assemble all the screen records together, and we'll see how it goes. Wish me luck. I've never done this before. Okay, so here I am. I'm walking around my own neighborhood, and I'm going to do an eBird list to show you how that works on the mobile phone. And right now, as I listen, I can hear red-breasted nuthatch in these beautiful redwood trees across the street. So I'm going to open up eBird, and I'm going to just start making a checklist. So I'm going to hit start here, and I'm going to type in red-breasted nuthatch. That's just the banding code. And I can hear one, and I've heard them here before, so I know there are probably two, but right now I can only hear one. So that's done. And I'm going to hit house finch. I can hear three of those. Oh, there's an American robin. I'm just hearing one of those right now. Oh, here comes a car. So you'll see that when you type in the banding code, the abbreviation, it'll fill it out. It may not get it right because there may be some other birds that have a similar banding code, and as you get all four letters, it'll get closer and closer to what you want. I type pretty badly, so I make mistakes all the time. But what I do find here, looking at this list, the list is pretty big and it has bunches of birds that I haven't seen yet. If you hit the little check mark down below where it says 3, it'll collapse it to just the birds you've put on your list. So that's what that is so far. Now I can hear dark-eyed junco too. And I'm pretty sure it's Oregon junco, but of course I can't see it right now, so I'm going to have to put dark-eyed junco. And I hear one of those singing. So that's probably enough for right now. I'm going to stop this list so we can try something a little bit different with the next list. I'm going to walk to a nearby park that actually has an official hotspot. What I'm using now is just going to be my personal hotspot for the neighborhood. And so personal hotspot's very different from an official one. People can't post to a personal hotspot except you. So anyway, I've done that, and I'm going to close out this list, and then we'll do this part later. am now at Devonshire Park. It's a small neighborhood park, about 100 yards by maybe 50 yards. It's got a small lawn where you could play some catch or frisbee. There's a play structure here and a couple of picnic tables. Obviously, those are closed down right now. And the swings are all taped off with caution tape, and there's no one here. But there are a few birds here, so I'm going to make a checklist. And let me see, submit. So start checklist. And I can see right now 2 American crows, a California gull just flew over the park. I'm going to count that. There's a dark-eyed junco, and I can actually see it this time, so I know that it's an Oregon junco. And there's one of those. There's lesser goldfinch. 2 of those, and I'm going to collapse it to just the birds that we're seeing right now, and I'm going to go back to lesser goldfinch, and I'm going to put these are both males. Okay, I'm hearing housefinch. There's Buick's right in the background, so you see how this goes. I just do 1 or 2 more, so we have a list with a little bit of substance. There was a house sparrow over there, and I'm hearing a couple of bush tits over by the shrubbery. Okay, so I think that's... Oh, wait, so there's an interesting sort of medium-sized bird that just flew out of that fan palm tree. So I expect it was probably a hooded oriole. Looked about the right size, sort of longish tail, but did not get a sufficient look, so I'm not going to count it. And here's another kind of interesting thing. This beautiful pepper tree I mentioned is filled with sapsucker holes. So I expect to come back here in October, November, probably going to find red-breasted sapsucker, or a sapsucker, maybe a yellow-breasted, yellow-bellied. Okay, so I'm going to close this list up, stop this list, stop the track, and there's only one observer because cricket's at home. I've only been birding here for 2 minutes, and I was pretty much standing in one place. Otherwise, you would see some kind of track listed there. And I may do that again just so you can see that, but this list doesn't have that. So I'm going to choose a location, and where it says 66 Devonshire Ave, I have not created that list, but somebody else created that personal checklist, which makes me think that what I said earlier was incorrect, and that you actually can post to someone else's personal checklist area. But there's a much less information for those personal checklist areas, and there are many of those personal checklist areas. I think eBird really prefers it if you use the official checklist areas, so that's what we're going to do. Devonshire Park, and I need to add a species because right now I'm cowbird, and you might have just heard it then too. And there's a white-breasted nuthatch, and there's a northern mockingbird. You can see what a bad typist I am. So I'm done with that, and we've selected an official hotspot area, and we're going to submit this list. Just totally look at it here. And I made a comment under lesser goldfinch. If I had put anything rare, let's say what would be rare? Magnolia warbler. If I saw a magnolia warbler here, it would not allow me to submit the list until I had added some comments, and that those comments really should be field marks, observation details, stuff to support your claim of Magnolia warbler. In this case, I've just added a comment because I felt like it to lesser goldfinches, not rare, and I didn't need to do it. I just wanted to show you how. So I'm going to submit this list, and let's say it is a complete list, and it's been submitted. We can go to checklists, and we can see under submitted Devonshire Park. Okay, so we're going to start something different here. I'm going to show you how to track. So you on your eBird app, you can set it to track or not track, where it says record track. Now, I have that turned on all the time, and we're going to walk from Devonshire Park. We're going to walk around the neighborhood, and then we're going to select a personal checklist for that, and hopefully we'll be able to see where I've traveled. Okay, so I'm going to start the checklist right now. And here we go. So this actually is a dead-end road. So I'm going to turn around, and I'm going to walk back toward the main street, past these fir trees. I'm hearing a bunch of things. I'm hearing bush tit. Just gonna put down one. Just Buick's friend. House finch. All the normal birds. See what we're looking at here. There's an American crow sitting on the wire. And maybe you're able to hear the northern mockingbird in the distance. It's actually pretty birdy right now. Lots of birds singing. I'm going to stop this list for now, or stop this recording for now, but the list will keep going. So I'll reconnect when we get closer to home, and we can take a look at where we've walked. So I've walked around for a little while, and I think it's about time to close out this neighborhood list. What was that? Anyway, so let's go back to eBird for a sec. And remember, I left track on, and it says I walked 0.87 miles. It has some GPS coordinates. I walked around for a little bit more than 19 minutes. And now I'm sitting down in the shade. It's getting pretty hot here. So I'm going to stop this list, and I'm going to stop the track. And now you can see that there's one observer, 19 minutes, and 0.87 miles. So let's just click on that for a second. You can see this fun track of where I went. Now that should populate with, there's some violet green swallows. There we go. So you can see the track. That area off to the east is the Google campus, and it's kind of fun to walk around there. And now I'm on the Hetchy Trail. Okay, so I'm going to close this, and you can zoom in on it too. When you get on the desktop at home, you can really get in there and take a look at it pretty closely. It's very fun to look at the aerial maps because sometimes you can see areas that you entirely missed, and maybe from the aerials it looks like the habitat might be good. So one reason to keep the track on and maybe explore those aerial photos to see if there's a nice grove of trees or maybe a small pond that you didn't know about that you could get to on a subsequent trip. So I'm going to choose a location, and here I'm going to do Mountain View Neighborhood, and I'm going to add those violet green swallows. There were two of them. And I just heard another Anna's hummingbird. Okay, so I'm gonna stop that list and submit it. Yes, it's a complete list. There it is. So let's go back to checklists. That's the Mountain View neighborhood that I just posted. And you could take a look at it again if you want. You can continue to make edits to it. You can email it to a friend. And we're going to go back to my eBird. We're still on San Mateo County. So let's go to current location. And no surprise, I didn't add any new birds for the year on that 19-minute walk. But it is fun to check in on this once in a while and see if you've added something and not even realized it to your yearly list. Okay, I'm back from my walk, and as expected, it didn't go all that smoothly because the screen records that I did when I imported them into iMovie, they lost all the audio. Now, the screen records are fine when I play them on my phone and when I play them on the computer desktop, but they didn't convert into iMovie. And so there's a bug there, but I was able to do a workaround, and I just re-recorded them from the desktop, and you'll be able to hear the commentary that I gave while I was entering stuff in eBird. So I hope you enjoy it. I think I learned a little bit about screen records, and I look forward to doing that again with maybe BirdGuy or other outdoor apps, and we'll see how that goes. But I think this was pretty successful. We created checklists, we uploaded birds, we selected a location, we looked at the map, we made adjustments and updates, and we looked at our my eBird section. So all in all, I think pretty successful. I hope you enjoyed it, and so get out there, go birding, take your phone, and use eBird. Until next time, later.